Alright guys, this is my detailed prediction for the pre-show match for Money in the Bank. It's going to be Kofi Kingston and R-Truth facing off against Hunico and Camacho in a non-title tag team match. I initially thought this was a tag team match, and I thought it didn't make too much sense giving Hunico and Camacho title shots before the actual number one contenders. The primetime players got their title shots since, they did win a number one contenders match. But then I found out that this was actually a non-title match. So, there will be no titles on the line here. So if Hunico and Camacho win, they do not win the tag team titles, or Kofi and R-Truth do not lose the tag team titles. As far as my prediction goes for this match and who I think is going to win, I'm definitely going with Kofi and R-Truth picking up the victory here. I mean, the current number one contenders are the primetime players, so really, I don't think there's any point in having Hunico and Camacho win this, because there's already, some number one contenders to the championship, to the tag team titles, and if Hunico and Camacho win, they would eventually, I would guess soon, get a title shot before the primetime players. Unless, maybe I could see Hunico and Camacho win if they change the title shot that the primetime players, Darren Young and Titus O'Neil, are going to get to a three-way tag team title match between Hunico teaming up with Camacho and Titus O'Neil with Darren Young, and obviously the tag team champions. But I don't see that happening. I see, the primetime players actually getting a one-on-one title match against the champions, hopefully at SummerSlam. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen at SummerSlam. It makes sense, especially with the whole Abraham Washington thing where he wants them to be in the spotlight and all that stuff. Actually, Abraham Washington, he tweeted out that, he's talking in kayfabe here, but he was saying that they got offered the tag team title shots at the pre-show for Money in the Bank, a match against Kofi and R-Truth, but Abraham Washington declined that offer because he didn't want the primetime players to be featured in the pre-show. He wants to be actually on the pay-per-view event and be in the spotlight, not on, I guess, YouTube.com. So, I like that, addition. I like that Abraham Washington tweeted that. It just adds to the whole, Abraham Washington tries to get them the spotlights and all that stuff. I'm actually looking forward to the primetime players hopefully taking the titles off R-Truth and Kofi Kingston. R-Truth and Kofi Kingston haven't been exactly entertaining for me. I mean, they put on some good matches, but I'm not really entertained by the tag team of R-Truth and Kofi Kingston as much as I am with Darren Young and Titus O'Neil, which is weird because I wasn't that much of a fan of either Titus O'Neil or Darren Young. I wasn't a fan of either guys as singles competitors, but as a tag team, I'm actually a fan of them. And with the little, amount of footage or the little amount of TV time they've had on Raw and SmackDown, I really enjoy that little amount of TV time they've got. I think they have potential. I think they could be a great tag team, and hopefully Abraham Washington adds, some people to that stable of his. Have, the primetime players as the tag team champions, and he could recruit somebody else to win a singles title, maybe the world title, or I don't know, the IC title or something like that. I know he was supposed to have Mason Ryan in his stable. They showed Mason Ryan with Abraham Washington and Epico and Primo. That was back when Epico and Primo were with Abraham Washington. Oh, by the way, I keep saying Abraham Washington, but right now they refer to him as AW. So for those wondering who I was talking about, maybe you didn't watch WWE's version of ECW. He was called Abraham Washington back then. Now I guess they thought it was too long of a name, so it's just AW now. But yeah, that was back when Epico and Primo were with AW until, he, turned his back on them or whatever. So yeah, he had Mason Ryan back then, but then suddenly Mason Ryan just disappeared and they stopped showing Mason Ryan with AEW, which I'm happy about because I wasn't really looking forward to Mason Ryan being in that stable. I much prefer somebody else. And looking at the roster, I could see maybe Antonio Cesaro joining that faction. I think he would fit in that faction. Maybe be the IC champion of the faction or something like that, or the stable. Or no, he's on SmackDown, so it'd be... Oh no, it is the IC title. The US title is on Raw, so... Yeah, he could be the IC champion of the stable with, the primetime players as tag team champions. Now keep in mind, they don't have to hold championships, but, it'd just be cool if they did. So, and somebody else, which I think would be a great addition, a huge addition to the stable, and that's if he returns, that's Mark Henry. I would love to see Mark Henry in that stable as the world champion. That'd be freaking awesome. His first world title reign was cut short because of an injury, so hopefully if he returns, he can join the stable, and Abraham Washington can manage him and lead him to another World Heavyweight Championship victory. I mean, after all, before he got injured, Abraham Washington was talking, AEW was talking to Mark Henry about, possibly joining his faction. He gave him his card so he can call him and stuff like that, so I could definitely see Mark Henry returning and joining that stable. Definitely make it a dominant stable there. Pretty awesome stable. I don't know if they could add anybody else to that stable apart from those guys. They could add Mason Ryan since they already did add Mason Ryan, but I guess now took him out. I don't know. We'll see how it unfolds. We'll see if they even add, more people to that stable. It might just be, the primetime players and Abraham Washington, and nobody else is gonna get added to it. Which I see no issue with, Abraham Washington just with the primetime players is fine with me, but it would be pretty cool to add somebody like Mark Henry too, and he could win the World Championship, and you'd have this stable with the World Champion and the Tag Team Champions, all heels, and dominating the, SmackDown roster, or both rosters, or the Raw roster. The only issue though with any new tag team champions is the amount of guys they could face. If you want a long title reign, you need to face, or you need to defend the championship against a bunch of teams. Now, if the primetime players win the tag team championships, they're gonna have maybe the Usos to defend against, and I guess Kofi Kingston and R-Truth in a rematch, and Epico and Primo if they are faces right now, which I'm pretty sure they're faces. So that's like 3 tag teams, and I'm pretty sure Kofi and R-Truth are gonna disband or no longer be a tag team once they lose the tag team championships. So that's like 2 tag teams, I guess, that could challenge them, unless maybe they turn Kurt Hawkins and Tyler Rex heel. But then all of the tag teams would be faces apart from the primetime players. So they definitely need to pair up some superstars together to make some new tag teams, or hire some new tag teams. I know recently Alex Shelley requested his release from TNA, but Chris Sabin is still in TNA now. If Chris Sabin was no longer in TNA and left with Alex Shelley, then maybe we could have had the Motor City Machine Guns in the WWE, but Chris Sabin is still with TNA and Alex Shelley left, so we can't. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you can click that like button. With that said, I'm out.